ready? Great, everyone, and welcome. My name is Paul Pursuti, and I'll be your host tonight, and we welcome you to our Wednesday night midweek oasis here at the Oakland Center for Spiritual Living. As you'll be able to experience tonight, our Wednesday night oasis is a place where we come together as a community to be spiritually refreshed between Sundays. Most Wednesday night services build upon the theme of the previous Sunday, sharing in a satsang style, expressing science of mind principles and practices with the intention that these gatherings be informal, intimate, and interactive. Our annual theme for 2024 is a grand rising. And when Grady's in the house, we say it's a grand rising, hallelujah. Our monthly theme for April is giant gentleness. Last Sunday, Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle Coleman introduced ideas inspired by the talk title of Your Gentleness is Showing. And tonight, our speaker will continue the exploration of this same topic. So as we gather tonight, I really want to welcome everyone. When Reverend Sunshine first came to our center, about a year and a half ago, I think, Reverend Sunshine, wouldn't you say? She extended this invitation and it captured my heart. And so when I get to host on Wednesday nights, I like to remember and honor that invitation. She asked us to come to the center well. Please come to our center well. So that's kind of welcome in a way. So I want to explain what she calls the 6 C's for us to consider and incorporate, not only in our Wednesday night service, but whenever we're at the center. She asks us to come with a heart of love and tenderness, which she calls compassion. Then her second C is communication. She says, come ready to exchange openly. Then please come in friendship and family, which she calls camaraderie. Come in harmony and ready to share, which we call communion. Come in partnership and cooperation, known as collaboration. And most importantly, she asks, come in consciousness, come in spiritual awareness and truth. As we move into our program tonight, these 6 C's are the premise of sharing a wonderful evening with you tonight. Now, if you're new to our community, please visit our homepage, www.oaklandcsl.org. And if you're watching us on our recording, I invite you to click on the I'm New icon and look at the lower left-hand corner of that page to submit your email address. Once you do, you'll begin receiving our version of a newsletter called the Village News newsletter, and that will come in your email. It has all the information on what is happening at the center in the coming weeks, and it only comes once a week to let you know what's going on. Now, before we get started with the talk, please mute your own audio microphone during tonight's service. You can leave your camera on, but when you mute your audio microphone, it will improve the quality of our recording and tonight's transmission. And please stay with us to the end of the service, where I'll be able to share special and important announcements I think you'll find interesting. So our speaker tonight hails from Savannah, Georgia. And as we found out in our social time, she is the winner of the long distance award tonight. And she'll also be sharing her thoughts on Sunday's theme of Your Gentleness is Showing. Rev Deb is an ordained interfaith minister by the way of One Spirit Seminary and has been a licensed practitioner in Centers for Spiritual Living since 2009, starting in the Oakland Bay area. She has a passion for supporting others in the transformation of expressing their authentic selves using various spiritual practices like meditation, affirmative prayer, and visioning. It's her passion in supporting others in rediscovering their truth and recognizing their true expressions of one, whole, perfect, and amazing exactly as they are. She is a wisdom seeker, a person who answers the call to live a life that continues to awaken her to an inner knowingness and lifts her to a higher level of consciousness. And her spiritual catchphrase is very catchy. And here it is. She likes to say, "Let's go." And that's what I like to do with Rev Deb every time she's with us as a guest or as a speaker. Let's go, Rev Deb. So as we start all of our events here at the center, we open with prayer. Rev Deb, will you be doing that honor this evening?
Yes, Paul, thank you. Yes, I will be doing the opening prayer tonight. Or this afternoon, evening, whatever time it is in your time zone. So let us just take this time in right now to just allow your eyes to close and just know that in this right now moment, that there is love, there is peace, there is joy, there is God, knowing that God truly is the only power, that this God presence resonates through each and every one of us, through every person that we know, all of our loved ones, our families, our coworkers, our communities, that this love of God resonates through each one and as each one, knowing that in those moments when we feel any anxiety or tension or stress, that we know that we can always go within and tap into that amazing power, giving ourselves that opportunity to be gentle with ourselves, to be gentle with others as well. Just as God is with us, we can show that out into the world. So just knowing that as this time that we are gathered here together, that this is the perfect time to be open to receiving that love and knowing the love that you are, that we are, that God is as each one of us, and that we allow ourselves to just lean back into the love of God, the arms of God, and allow ourselves to be held in that place of gentleness and compassion as we're held by each other, by ourselves. For I know that this time that we have together tonight is that opportunity to just let go, let God, and know that all is truly working out for our highest and best always. Knowing that the love of God surrounds us and enfolds us and keeps us and protects us always. So this time together is a sacred time, a joyous time, a time of love. And so I just know that this day, this talk, this gathering is already done in the mind of God. So I know that it's already perfect, exactly as it is. So I just give thanks for this time that we have come here together, knowing that all is well. And I release this into the law, knowing that it is so. And I anchor this with, and so it is. Amen. I guess I'm on now, huh? Good evening, everyone. It is such an honor to be here with you all tonight, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you that's here. You know, tonight, this topic of your gentleness is showing, it had me thinking so many times about what does that look like? What does me being gentle look like? And how does that look when I receive that gentleness from others? And as I was doing the meditation tonight, there was this reminder that came up for me as I was preparing for this talk today, and knowing that Reverend Sunshine had given me this invitation about a month or so ago. And there's so much stuff that's happening in my world right now that I needed to take this moment to just settle in right before we got on to this call, to settle into what was it that Spirit wanted to have me present? And in that process, I was kind of like beating myself up a little bit about I should have had something, I should have had more together, whatever the conversation was, that monkey mind conversation that was happening at that time. And then I had to remember everything truly is working out. So in this process, to just be gentle with yourself, go easy on yourself. And I think about how many times have we started a project or started classes or started writing something or a new job or something, whatever it may have been. And then we realize that, yeah, this is not what I wanted to do, or we've had other distractions that come up and interfere with the progress of what we have started. And we put things on the back burner sometimes. And then we think to ourselves, I should have written that book 5 years ago. I don't know what was happening. I don't know. Why am I not doing this? And we start berating ourselves to a certain degree. And I started thinking, it's like when we do that, what does that do to us at our cellular level when we are beating ourselves up in this process? When we are putting ourselves down? It's easy. We hear it I know from me, from my childhood, from my parents or from my grandmother, that place of not necessarily always saying you're not good enough, but it was, in a way, it was you're not good enough or you can't do that. Or how many times have you heard that from your loved ones saying that, why are you doing that? You're not special. You can't do that. And then you think with this project, with this idea, with what you're taking out into the world, you think these people that are supposed to be your support system, your love systems, where is their compassion for you? But a lot of times, especially as children hear certain things, hear certain ideas or negative thoughts that are presented to them. And they take those thoughts and they give it a meaning. And then when they're giving it a meaning, then they take that into their adulthood because they think back. How many times have you all have heard people say, well, my parents said, you'll never amount to anything. Or you're not good enough to do that. You don't have any skills. You can't fill in the blanks. And then we start thinking and recalling those memories. Oh, yeah, my mom did say that I don't have any skills or talents. So I'm not going to allow my voice to be heard to sing, or I'm not going to allow my words to be presented in a book or in a magazine because I've been told that I'm not good enough. But the thing about it is that you are good enough. And then we think, where is the gentleness from these individuals that have raised us, that have given birth to us to bring us into this place, this earth that we're on? And then we think back, or I think back to, where is that gentleness that we have with ourselves? There is truly this time that we have to, especially in this time of where we are on this planet, there's so much heavy energy that's happening all around us. And I'm not saying that everybody's experiencing the heaviness, but I know those individuals that are sensitive to energy, the people that are empaths, and they're picking up so much pain and fear and doubts and concerns that we have within ourselves. And we think, where's the compassion? Where's the gentleness with people? Rather, we would go and argue with someone because we think that they're wrong about a certain situation. And we start thinking, well, they can't do this anyway, so I'm not going to, bother about having a conversation with them, or will think I'm going to speak negatively of them because they spoke negatively about me. And it becomes this place of that negative that comes at you, you give that back. And all you get in that process is more negativity. Whereas if that negativity comes to you, when do you kind of like put up a shield and say, stop? I see you. I love you. I behold that God that's within you. And sometimes we don't even have to say it out loud. There was an experiment that I was a part of many years ago when I was in the Bay Area. And there was one key person that was in a room. And the rest of the crowd was in another part of it was at a church. It was at and they were in another part of the room. And the instructions were, one, to send negativity to that person. So everyone that was in the space in that center was sending negative energy to that person. And this went on maybe for about 5 minutes or so, maybe about 5 minutes. Excuse me. And I was in the space where the person was receiving the energy. I was in that on that side of the room. And I could see this person's energy, just their beingness just started shrinking, or like there was tears in their eyes. And after the 5 minutes, there was a break for this person to kind of recoup back, to bring themselves back together. And after a few minutes of coming back into the space, the next set of instructions that was given to the group was to now send love to that person. And as the people were sending love to that person that was there, you could start seeing how this person lit up. You could see how there was this smile, and we weren't speaking it out loud. We were just in our thoughts, just sending this energy out to this person. But you could see how this person lit up. And so after the exercise was over, they had the person speak about what they felt. And the person went in to say that when the group was instructed to give negative energy, that they could feel it like in their heart space, and it sunk down into their stomach, and they just felt like they just wanted to just crawl up in a little ball and run away, because it was that much energy, that strong, that was coming at them in this negative way. And they were almost in tears, because it's like, how could someone, although this is an exercise, how could someone send that kind of energy to me? And so then when this person was asked, what did it feel like when the love came to them? Their whole energy shifted, even as they were talking about it, that, oh my gosh, it's like I could feel the love. I could feel like God was just holding me, and it's just in this space. And I could feel the love and the beauty and the energy of everyone. And when I realized is that that's what that gentleness is, that gentleness that we can give to others when we're seeing that they're in pain, when we're seeing that they are experiencing some type of hardship, or when they're going through a hard time. that we can be gentle with them in our conversations, in our actions to them. Not to say when you see a person like, why are you crying? You don't need to cry. Stop crying. But rather than that, go and ask them, are you okay? May I help you with something? How may I support you? But it's also, how many times have we beaten ourselves up? And so much so that we just want to go and get under the covers and hide out because we think that we're such failures and we can't do anything right, or whatever the conversation is that we have about ourselves that's not true. But the thing is that how many times do we stop that conversation and remind ourselves of how powerful we are, how beautiful we are? It's even to go stand in front of the mirror and say to yourselves that that I see you, I see the beauty that resides in you. To have that compassion for yourself. I know how gifted you are. I know your talents and your skills. Because this is how God sees us. God created us in this, as it says, in his image and likeness. And the thing that I understand is that we are truly that, we're the human expression of God. That's as God is experiencing itself through us, through our ups and our downs, the sadness, the tears, the joy, the laughter, the happiness. That we as humans go through these physical experiences at all times. There's always something that's happening. But in the midst of the negative things that happen, how many times do we step into that place of being gentle? Gentle with ourselves and gentle with others. A lot of times we have a tendency to put others before ourselves. And when you're on a plane, when it always tells you, it's like, put your mask on first before you try to save someone else. That's what this is about. Be gentle with yourself first. Love yourself first. Because if you're not able to love yourself, how can you love someone else? This is that time of being gentle that sometimes things seem so huge, so out of control that we don't know what to do with them at times. These are the times that we go into our spiritual practices, that we go into prayer, that we go into meditation to quiet our minds. This is when we reach out to a practitioner, to our prayer partner, to a minister. Sometimes I've known people that have just gone to Catholic churches. In some places, their doors are open 24/7. And they just go in and just sit down inside of the church because there's something so heavy on them that they may not know how to be gentle with themselves. But there is someone that can be gentle with them. So we have to reach out and find who that is or what that is. There have been several times that I realized that I've had not meltdown moments, but I've had these moments that I'm so frustrated or just in tears. I remember when I was in the Bay Area and and I lost a job there. And in my mind, how I felt that I was released and treated when I was released from this job, that it seemed so unfair. But there was a part of me that I already knew that something was happening because I had already started clearing off my desk. And the only thing that was left on my desk when I was informed that they were letting me go was I had a coffee cup, I had a plant, and I had my purse there in my drawer. And then whatever the files were that I was working on. So there was something that knew within me that knew that something was coming. But still, when that opportunity showed up, I was kind of pissed about it because it was how it was handled, and I was hurt. And I realized that they escorted me out to the door, and I'm thinking, why are they treating me this way? I've not done anything to bring that on. But I could feel my this anger coming up. And I realized that I sat with it, I rode with it, I got in my car, and as I was driving home, and I'm thinking, how dare they let me go? It's like, wait a minute. It was all the conversations that I knew that I was not in a place being gentle, but I was in that place of being hurt and upset. And then as I'm driving, I'm in my mind, it's like, all right, Spirit, you got to show me what to do with this situation because this was not fair. And in the process of as I was driving home, something said, well, you know you can file for unemployment, right? And I thought about it, I was like, whatever tears I had, they kind of dried up rather quickly. I was like, oh, I hadn't thought about that. And in that moment, it shifted me. And I was like, thank you, Spirit, for this insight, because this helped me to be able to see something different, to shift my energy. So I want to ask you all a couple of questions in regards to where or when have you felt the time where you've initially not been compassionate with yourself or gentle with yourself, and you realize that you kind of brought yourself, something happened and allowed you to switch where your thought process, and you realize that going into your gentleness, it helped to resolve a situation. So is there anyone that would like to share about a situation or something that may have come up for them?
I will, Reverend Deb, and thank you for being here. This is Dorothy Mendez. I remember when my ex-husband said to me that he no longer wanted to be married, and I had 2 children, a house on the hill. I had the wishing well out on the lawn and all that stuff, okay? And I said, I know this is not really happening to me and my 2 children. And all of a sudden, I felt like I could no longer move forward in my life. And I tried to commit suicide. And my stepfather happened to come. I had got in my car, closed the garage door, and turned on the engine of my car because I, at that time, was a young mother with 2 little crumb crushers, not knowing what my next step in life would be and what I could do. And for some reason, my stepfather came to my house to do I had a half an acre of land as a yard. And he found me. And he took me to the hospital where I worked as a nurse. And everybody there that I worked with, that they put me in the ICU, everybody that I worked with, I remember my supervisor saying, if you can't give her love, you can't see her. Mm-hmm. And I felt so much love. Yes. From the people that I worked with. I was able to say, you know what? Okay, God, it's you and me. And I can move through this with ease and grace. And I give thanks for that. But I was not gentle with myself, and I became selfish because it was all about me. Unfortunately, that's not how God wanted it to be. And I'm grateful to be right here. And my crumb crushers are now 64 and 60. So we're all happy people. And I thank you for tonight, darling.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God, thank you for sharing that. Wow.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Thank you, Dorothy. Deborah, I don't know if you were clapping or raising your hand, but if you want to share, we ask that you turn on your camera or speak up like Dorothy did, and let us know so we can recognize you. Or use the hand icon like I will use for a second here.
The hand icon was a clap, but it was also sending love.
Amen. An open hand,
Yes.
right? Yes, indeed. Anyone else have something to share for Reverend Deb? It reminds me, Reverend Deb, of a time, an intense time when I was transitioning um, in upper management in a large job, and I was pretty rattled. And my practitioner at the time was Christopher Brown, that we all know, and he said,
Yes.
Paul, can you hold it just a little lighter? And that made all the difference in the world when I could still hold it and recognize it, but I could be gentle not only with myself, but with the situation and recognize I don't have to hold it as heavy as I was.
Yes.
And it created space so that I could move through that situation. And I often share that with a lot of our friends in our group meetings, that idea. So you made me remember that idea today. And I just hold it a little bit lighter.
Yes. Thank you. And and that's what it's about. It's about that lightness of it. It's like when we're gentle with ourselves, when we're gentle with others, there is that space that it feels a lot lighter, because it's like when we're holding that anger, when we're holding that resentment, it's dense and it weighs us down. And when we get to this place of being gentle with ourselves and with others, you can kind of feel like there's a lighter movement that's happening. I think about, there's this water experiment that Dr. Emoto does, and under one of the glasses, he writes a note, or and I've done it before. You write a note under there, under the glass, and you put on there, "I hate you," whatever negative term it is, and then under another glass, you put under there, "I love you," or whatever the positive term is. And you allow it to sit for a couple of days. And what you see is that the energies from this note that's under this glass of water, how it moves into the water itself, and it changes color, especially when it has a negative energy, and it changes the color. It sometimes it may get dark, or it may get brown, or whatever the color is that is picking up. But then you look at the glass that has the positive affirmation, or that "I love you," and you see how sparkling it is. That's us. That's when people are speaking heavy terms or negative terms, or coming at us in a way that feels that like they're attacking us. We're that energy goes into our system and it weighs us down, and it, even when we're speaking to ourselves, it can start destroying ourselves. And then it's like when you think about the lightness, the love, the joy that people speak to you, of how, and even that you speak to yourselves, how it makes you feel, how you're moving through the world in this place of joy. And we get to choose at any given moment how we want to, what direction we want to walk in. And it's okay that we're in our feelings. It's like that we're in whatever it is that we are experiencing in that moment. But it's not for us to stay in there forever and ever. Amen. Eventually, there has to come a time that we can be able to move out of that space, that darkness, into the light and allow our joy, to allow our light to shine. This is not about anyone else. This is about our journey that we're here to do. How we choose to react to any situation is our choice. And we have the time to be in tears. I remember there are times that when I lived in the Bay Area, it's like something happened, and all I wanted to do was come and get into the corner of my couch. And I would sit there and then I would just boo-hoo because something at work happened, something in life happened, and I didn't feel good enough or worthy enough to deal with that situation, or I felt hurt. And I allowed myself that time to be in that corner, to cry and to curse and whatever else came up for me to do. And I realized that after a period of time, it's like, okay, now what can I do to shift my energy, to shift myself? And in some cases, I would just write out whatever it was that I was feeling. And then I would take that piece of paper and burn it. Sometimes I would just write it all on toilet paper. And it's like, and then ball it up, throw it in the toilet, and take and flush it down the drain and let it dissolve. But I knew that as I got that negative energy out of my system, it allowed something within me to open up, and it allowed me to feel better. And these are the things that we do, that we can do in this time of what we're dealing with, things that are happening around us in our neighborhoods, in our cities, in our states, that doesn't feel comfortable for us. And sometimes rather than going at these situations in a negative way, how about adding some compassion to that? How about being gentle with the person? Because we never know what anyone is experiencing. We don't know what anyone is going through. I was looking at, there's a sign in one of the stores that I was in today, is a Starbucks inside the store. And it talked about, and I'm kind of paraphrasing this, and it said, you never know what the person next to you may be going through. So rather than judge who they are or what they're doing, because they may be taking forever at the register trying to pay, be gentle with them. Show kindness to them. Because sometimes people, that's all that they can use, that's all they can afford is a cup of coffee in that moment. And that they needed that cup of coffee to help them get through a situation. So we never know what anyone may be going through in our families, in our workspaces. We see the outside of them. We don't know their inside. And they don't know ours. So they don't know what we're going through either at times. So this is that time when gentleness comes into play. I remember years ago that Reverend Michael Beckwith would say, it's like when you're watching the news, to allow that to be your time of prayer. Allow that to be your time for gentleness. So I see there are a couple of hands up. I'm not sure if it's you're waving or if you have a question or a comment that you want to add.
I'm not waving, but
I
I
can't.
can.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can. You asked the question of when there was a time that that I employed gentleness, kind of. That's what I thought of. So y'all have heard me say this, keeping soft knees, staying flexible and pliable and so the other day, how was that put into play? The other day I was pretty wound up. It's not the other day, it was yesterday. It seems like so long ago. It was yesterday. I was pretty wound up and I got home and I was just kind of, how the saying goes, kind of fit to be tied. And then the water came into my mind. And when I'm in that kind of state of mind, I like to go to what I call the big water, to the bay, to the ocean, to just like let my thoughts just go out to sea. And so I went to the Emeryville Marina and as soon as I walked in the house, I had that thought. I put some stuff down and I turned around and I walked out and I drove to the marina and I just sat there. You know, the sun was shining bright and I was able to let the breeze blow and just let my thoughts just kind of go out there. And it opened me up a little bit so that I could move on to the next thing. That to me felt like I was being gentle with myself.
Mhm. Thank you for sharing that. Water is always my go-to space as well. It's like if I can get to it, that's it. So thank you for sharing that, Reverend Sunshine. Deborah, you have your hand up?
Yes, I do. One of the things I really want to say is that religious science has had such a major impact in my life. I look at the before religious science and after, and just the growth that it has enabled me with all the techniques and tools and resources that we have to do exactly what you're saying. I remember a time in my life when my mother had made her transition, and I literally wanted to be in the casket with her. And I didn't, and I was growing in religious science at the time, and people were showering me with love. But on a daily basis, my heart was broken. And I'll never forget what I did was I used to come to Oakland Center for Spiritual Living, and literally lay across the pulpit and recognize the window where God is absolutely coming down, the V, and then manifestation. It was such a powerful place for me at that time to absolutely go and allow myself to be loved, to be held, and also to absolutely let go. Because most people at that time were saying, oh, don't cry. And I was full of tears. Everybody was loving on me, but I needed a space where I knew God was with me regardless. And right there on that stage, laying down on that ground, looking up at that window, absolutely not only calmed me, but fed me. I look at all of the tools of which you are saying in terms of utilizing the love that we have inside and the love that we have to access all the time for the harshness sometimes in the world. And it's so powerful to just reach out to my Dr. Danners or my Science of Mind magazine, or make a phone call and give a chat or talk about all of these things. And I just say, religious science has absolutely made a major difference in my life because of the techniques and tools that I have been given in times of hard times to work it through. And it's so powerful. And I thank you for all that you said today, because it is bringing up all of the times of which religious science has absolutely made that difference. Yeah?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. There are so many tools that we can utilize. And even just going into that quiet space to just allow ourselves to just let go, to let it, whatever it is, the emotions come out. And sometimes it's like there are people that hold anger so much so, and there's no way for them to express it. And I would tell people sometimes, just get a stick, get a baseball bat or something, find a pillow and just start like wailing on that to get it out of your system. because that's still, regardless, no matter how we look at it, that's still a way of us being gentle with ourselves, because we're not holding on that negative energy, that we're willing to let it go, that we're willing to move through that space. And it's not to bypass what we're feeling, but we know that we cannot continue to keep holding that space. So, Sabrina, you have a question or a comment?
I do. Thank you. Wow. First of all, I could listen to your voice all night. You have such a soothing voice and comforting voice. Thank you so much. And I also, you just made me remember when you talked about the Catholic Church being open all day and going into it. And I used to do that. I used to do that a couple of decades ago when I was working in technology. I would have to just leave and go sit in the church. And the difference between then and now, I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to go anywhere. I can get that feeling tone because of what I've been learning through religious science. And I just find it amazing. There used to be a term growing up, not us Catholics, but the Baptists would say, I'm born again, I'm born again. And I never understood it. I never felt it, but I feel it now. I feel new. I feel like I'm born again, knowing that I don't have to find a church, a Catholic church in the middle of the day, that I can just stop wherever I am and just feel it. So I want to say thank you. And I also want to thank Reverend Sunshine for just all of the programs that you have going. Dr. Dan, in the middle of the day, I do go. I do go. And just knowing that like you're there, thank you, whether I can make it there on Sunday or not. So just thank you. And I love you. And I just
love you back. Yay.
I'm complete.
Thank you. Paul, do we have time? Can we take Jessica's? She has her hand up.
Absolutely, please.
Okay. Jessica.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great, because I'm driving. But I guess my thinking is that so many times in my life when I've been in a lot of pain or grief, I always have this story of I'm all alone, and that has kind of kept me, I think it actually kept people from being able to love me during my harder times. Because maybe it was resentment or just a belief that energetically hasn't allowed people in. And some of the spiritual work that I've been doing lately, I think what I'm seeing with my cat that just died on Saturday, is this outpouring of love that that I'm getting from friends and from family. And I'm not, how should I put this? I'm not surprised by it. I just feel open to it in a way that I don't think I've been in the past. And I don't know what got me to sign on to this Zoom call tonight. There was just some, today has been a very rough day for me. But I think there's just kind of a flow of energy happening because I'm more open to giving and receiving love.
Yes.
So that's all I wanted to say.
Jessica, I just want you to know that God doesn't put you anywhere you don't belong, okay? You are in your right and perfect place.
Always.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And that brings us right where we need to be. We're always in the right place at the right time, doing the right thing for the right reason, a wise person told me, even if it doesn't look like it. And that brings us right on time to move into our next part of the program. Rev Deb, you feeling good about yourself and tonight?
I am feeling great. Thank you all. And this has been an honor just to be here with you all tonight. And thank you for everyone that has shared, opened your hearts tonight. So thank you for being here.
Well, we all want to go into
Sunshine, thank you
gallery
for the invite.
We love you. We hope to see you soon, sweetheart.
in person.
Definitely.
In person. But when we can't, we have these tools. So let's go into gallery view, everybody, and turn on your camera and show Rev Dev just how much we appreciate and love her for being here. Transported 3,000 miles to be with us tonight. Thank you so much, Rev Deb. As usual, we have some announcements, some interesting things coming up, and we'd like to let you know what's going on. So, Peter, why don't we just take a minute and run through a little bit of a prepared thing known as Next Sunday. April 14th, Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle Coleman will be speaking on The Other in Love. Meditation starts at 10, followed by the service at 10:30. On Wednesday, next Wednesday, get ready. Here I come. I have an invitation and I have accepted for a deeper conversation of the topic, The Other in Love. Next Wednesday night, again, we'll be at meditation at 6:30 and service at 7, and it's all in Zoom. Make sure you go to our website, click services for the Zoom link. Join our 2024 daily community spiritual practice using the Abundance Book, 40-Day Prosperity Plan by John Randolph Price. Today we're on the 21st day of the program using the first affirmation in the book. Follow along daily in the order that the affirmations appear. We honor Passover, April 22nd through April 30th. Each April, the past and present mingle during Passover, one of the most significant holidays on the Jewish calendar. Passover is a celebration that commemorates the Jewish people's escape from slavery in ancient Egypt. April is also Earth Month. We have celebrated Earth Day for the past 50 years on April 22nd by billions of people around the world. Learn about CSL's sacred activism for Earth Day by visiting oaklandcsl.org, click on events, and click on the Earth Day image. Big announcement, Sunday, May 5th, 4 p.m., Thrive, East Bay, and our Oakland Center for Spiritual Living will host the Hold Everyone Up concert. And that will be in our sanctuary featuring Melanie DeMore and the Wild Choir. Tickets can be purchased by visiting our website on the events page. There'll also be an assistance in the courtyard after Sunday service in purchasing tickets online. Please, please spread the word and tell your friend and bring your friends. The People of African Descent New Thought Group is hosting Celebrating Our Soul 2024, Consciously Creating Change. The conference happens August 1st through 4th at Unity Village in Kansas City, Missouri, and is an opportunity to come together to learn and share spiritual principles to help improve lives and our communities. Early registration ends April 15th, and you can visit their website at www.padntg.com to learn more. Our Spirit Treasure bookstore is celebrating National Poetry Month and Earth Awareness Month and has a 30% off table. So for more information, please contact Linda Wyman at oaklandcsl.org, and you can visit our bookstore on Sunday. Look at all these great people. They all are in service capacities here at the center. We're so grateful for everything that they do for us and providing us a space to come and enjoy our Sunday and Wednesday night services and all the activities that go on. If you're interested in what's happening on the larger scale of the Centers for Spiritual Living, please visit their website at csl.org. In the meantime, you can visit our website at oaklandcsl.org, and you can sign up for our weekly newsletter, The Village News. Remember to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook for special updates and content you'll only find by liking and subscribing to Oakland Center. Please like us and subscribe to the center today. So in this moment of gratitude and in recognition of all the wonderful things we have available, all the tools, all the events, all the avenues that we have to come together and share in community, we also have the opportunity to give back to our community. So if you have a gift tonight that you'd like to share with the Oakland Center, whether it's time or treasure or talent, just visualize it for a moment and hold it close to your heart, and let's bless it together. Our affirmation for giving tonight is, joyously I give with an attitude of abundance, knowing that as I give, I do receive. So if you're inclined to give us a financial donation tonight, you can use the donate icon on our website's homepage. And once you click that, you'll see 5 different ways that you can donate any time of the week. It works just like the Catholic Church, 24/7. It's open and available to receive your donation by credit card, by mail, Zelle, or text. Or you can also join us on Sunday, and we have offering baskets as a very, very special part of our service where you can come up and make your contribution. So no service is complete here at the Oakland Center without thanking people. I was thinking the other day, I don't thank people enough for all the work that they do in my life that impresses me and through their gentle treatment to me. So right off the top, I want to thank our beautiful speaker tonight, Rev Deb, for coming and joining us and inspiring us, doing the meditation and the opening prayer. I also want to give a shout out to Reverend Sally Bartholomew, who I get to co-share hosting with. She's on the road. She went and saw the eclipse in the totality zone with her husband Dave, and we bless her, and we're giving her the month off so she can enjoy special time with Dave on the road. And finally, from a ministerial point of view, I want to thank Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle Coleman. It's already been expressed, but I can't thank you enough for inviting me to participate at the center in many capacities, and especially tonight. I also want to thank the folks that support this event on Wednesday nights, far and near. I want to thank Peter Gum up in Portland and my Alice's, and they're mine on Wednesday nights. One's from Marin and one's from Oakland, Alice Herndon and Alice Knutson. Thank you both guys for what you do. It's so valuable. Your service is so appreciated. I also want to thank Steve Carter in our administration area upstairs in the social hall and ed building. He puts all this stuff together and gets it to me and Peter, and we can present to you, which I hope has been in an intimate, informal, and interactive way tonight. So thank you, Steve, for your service. Tonight, we're very blessed to have our senior minister with us, and she's going to close us in prayer. But mostly, I want to thank all of you that joined us tonight. I want to give a shout out to Jessica, her first time with us tonight. Welcome. We look forward to seeing you at the center. Please find me. I'm in the back of the center on Sundays at service. Dorothy's in Ministry of Prayer. Reverend Sunshine will be up at the pulpit. And you already know Alice and Alice, they'll be doing the AV stuff. You'll see them when you come in. So you already have an open invitation and connection already. So thank you. And we bless you on your drive tonight. And we're so glad that you're here. Thank everybody else for joining us. I appreciate it. And at this time, we're going to go into our closing of our event, always with prayer. And Reverend Dr. Sunshine Michelle Coleman will be doing the honors for us tonight.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. And Trisha is on our AV team too. She's on cameras, so we want to count her in. Thanks, Rev Deb. Thanks, all y'all. You know I love you. So as we come together during this closing for now, but an opening into the infinite possibilities of God, we give thanks. We know that there is so much of life that is forever expressing itself in each and every nanosecond. Life is eternal and glorious. And so even if we're having pains and grief, what we can know is that we can turn to joy. We can turn to love. We can turn to gentleness, giant gentleness, and to tender loving care. We can lift ourselves up simply by leaning in and opening up into God's grace and ease and love. It will show us how. I am just convinced of it. So as we go forth from this place onto our next destination, which could be the next route, it could be staying in your seat, it could be driving somewhere or doing whatever it is. I know that we all go in grace, that we sleep well tonight with the angels, and that we continue to live an abundant, joyous, happy life, even in the midst of all the toils and turmoils of that our world is going through. We have the tips and the tools, as was talked about today, to remind us of who we are and whose we are and why we are, so that we can lift up, and our lifting up then lifts up the world. So with this and with gratitude, we simply cast this word out, knowing that the universal laws support it and make it so, and it showers us with blessings that we look forward to receiving with open arms. We let it be, and we let it be well. Together we can proclaim with attitude of gratitude, and so it is.
And so it is. Amen.
Praise God. Yes, yes, yes.